Hello and welcome to our channel. This is the show where we like to give you our rating first and then talk about the things we did and did not like about the movie we just saw. Today's movie is 1917. We saw it. Did you guys see it? It's in limited release, coming out full scale in another week or two. But it did actually officially come out in 2019. So, we saw it. We're going to let you know what we thought in 3, 2, 1, see it. Now, I said that this came out in 2019 mainly because I think this is actually the best movie of 2019. To me, it's just hands down. I don't know if there's a better movie that I saw in 2019 than this. So, 1917. Things that we liked. Sam, do you want to start?
No.
Okay, Sam does not want to start. I'll start. I thought it was, for a movie that actually has only a little bit of actual combat in it, it is one of the most intense war movies I've probably ever seen. It is ratcheted up to a level kind of similar to what Christopher Nolan did in Dunkirk a little bit, but I think this was far more intense.
It was very intense.
Because one of the main things about the film is that they have to cross enemy lines, but they don't know if the enemy is actually retreated. They have to trust the intel that they have, but they never know if a trench they're going to walk into actually is or is not going to have German soldiers in it. And it just creates for a massively compelling experience.
I think because of the film really following one character, it had so much depth to it, even with that. Even though there was very few characters, like there was other components to the character, but being able to follow this man's story was extraordinary. Like just watching him go through all of these different obstacles to get to where he needed to go was just heartbreaking and anxiety driven. And you were rooting for him, but at the same time you were like, oh my goodness, how could you? He had so much adrenaline to have to do that. It was amazing to watch.
Yeah, and it is a pair of guys. It's two people that go through this ordeal. They pick one guy and say, hey, pick someone to go with you to deliver this message to the front lines.
Right, but I'm saying like for as few characters that were in this movie, it was so well done.
Yeah, so they have to take this message to the front lines to stop this. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but a platoon or battalion that to stop them from engaging in a battle that is actually a trap. The trailer sets it up, and the whole movie from beginning to end is just expertly crafted. And one of the things I actually really liked, and you'll see a lot of people talk about this, is that the movie is shot to look like it's one long continuous take. They do a very, very good job with disguising the edits within the film. There's a few times where I could tell it's like, oh, there was a cut there. There's times like where something completely covers the foreground of the image, so all we're looking at is maybe like an enemy tank that's buried in the dirt. And then when something like that happens, like, oh, this is where they're making an edit. And there's a few times where we go over like a dirt mound or something, and we come on the other side of the dirt mound, and it actually looks like a different shot, but it's incredibly well disguised. There's one actual real edit in the movie that's actually meant for us to see. And that's the scene when we transition tonight, which I thought was pretty cool. Did you have any thoughts about the continuous take?
I didn't really notice it until you said something after, but I think that was just because I was so interested in the movie. I was very much just kind of watching this film and enjoying the film.
Yeah, and I'd say, to your point, that as I was watching the film, I was actually trying to look for the cuts, but I got so engrossed with the film that I just forgot about the whole single take thing. I just stopped looking for the edits. I was so engrossed with the film that I was like, I wasn't captivated by the technical achievement. I was captivated by the story that they were telling. So, now on to the things that we didn't like, if any at all. Sam, is there anything about this movie that you didn't like?
No, I don't really think you could not like anything about this movie. There's nothing. I mean, it was intense from the beginning to the end. I mean, all the way till the very last moment. It was really just, you were at the edge of your seat, and even though the ending, the winding down of the ending isn't so intense, it was still like, wow, you can believe that. But no, there's nothing that I would have to say that sticks out where I'm like, I didn't like that.
Yeah, I'd say the only thing I thought of coming out of it was that the movie was almost too harrowing for me. it was almost too intense, too anxiety inducing. It would be, I can rewatch Dunkirk. We've seen it 3 or 4 times. This is going to be one of those movies where, as much as I loved it, it's going to be a hard rewatch because of how intense it is, just emotionally. It's a hard sit through for me.
I don't know. I really like war movies, so I think I could sit through this one again.
I could, but it's just like,
I don't know. I mean, Dunkirk is
I want
probably...
the anxiety.
Dunkirk is one of my favorite movies in general, but I think this one, I mean, as far as war movies go, I think this one's going to be one of the ones that's up there with the war movies that I really enjoy watching.
Yeah. So, that's it for me.
That's it for me.
I'd have to go through our list, but I had to go probably best movie of 2019.
I don't know. We didn't do a list this year.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I would even consider putting above it. But
I'm trying to remember the movies from last year. Last year was kind of what came out last year that was so...
I mean, for me, it's this and Parasite are the best movies of 2019.
Oh, Parasite. That is a good movie.
It's this and Parasite are the best movies of 2019.
Parasite was great.
It'd be interesting to see what the Oscar race is. We took a long hiatus. There was a bunch of movies that came out before this. I just think we're going to skip those. I mean, to give it a quick thing, like Star Wars, I'd give it a pass it. What do you say about Star Wars?
I think I said wait for it, didn't I?
Wait for it?
Yeah, wait for it. I liked it.
It was okay. Not the ending to the Skywalker saga that I wanted, but...
Jumanji was fun. Jumanji was definitely a see it.
So, yeah, I'll give Jumanji a wait for it. And I said in the one that we recorded that we weren't able to get up was because I liked the film. I didn't like it as much as the first one.
Yeah, I still
Or at least the second Jumanji movie.
Yeah. All right.
So because I didn't think it was as good as the first Jumanji movie or the second Jumanji movie, it's just a notch.
Reboot.
Yeah, it's because when you say like, oh yeah, this is the second Jumanji movie, people are like, no, it's the third Jumanji movie. It's like, okay. Of the
reboot, it's the second.
Yeah, but people consider it canon with the original, so this is actually in fact the third Jumanji movie.
Well, I guess you're right. I guess I never thought of it like that, but yeah, no, it's the third one, Jimmy. You need to get it right.
We saw Uncut Gems as well. I give it a wait for it. What would you think of Uncut Gems?
Wait for it.
Wait for it. Mm-hmm. So we're just doing a quick recap of some of the movies that we saw that we've skipped.
Yeah.
For me, it's really just the ending for a movie that was as anxiety-inducing as this one is. While I really liked it, it's not a movie I could recommend to everybody. It's not a movie I can just go out to someone who may not be a film buff and go, you have to see Uncut Gems. Like, I couldn't tell my brother to go see Uncut Gems. I don't know if my brother would be... He'd probably go watch it and be like, what is wrong with you? Why would you tell me to watch that movie? So that's, to me, why Uncut Gems is a wait for it. Just, I can't recommend it to everybody.
Right.
But if you are someone that's into art house cinema, that likes the art of the stuff that goes into the characters, the storytelling, it is a see it for people that are into those kinds of movies.
Right.
We saw The Lighthouse. Give The Lighthouse it's borderline wait for it, pass it, The Lighthouse. It only gets elevated because I actually work with someone that saw it and he understood that it was actually the whole thing is about Greek mythology. So when he started explaining it to me, I'm like, oh, it makes more sense to me, but there's nothing in the film that actually tells you that that's what they're doing. So because a film like that has to be explained to me, it's hard for me to get into that and recommend, not even just recommend it, it was hard for me to get into that movie simply because a lot of the mythology stuff just went right over my head.
We were gone for about a month and a half. I didn't realize we were gone so long.
Yeah, well, December was kind of a slower month.
We were also very sick.
Yeah, there was like
really sick.
There was like a 3-4 week period where we were like deadly sick.
Either I was sick or you were.
We didn't want to go to the movies.
You were sick.
Yeah, didn't want to go to the movies, hacking up and coughing and sneezing and whatnot. So we took a big break for a little while.
We just kept bouncing it back and forth of each other.
So those are our just end of the year recaps for the films that we saw at the end of the year. If you saw any of these films, what did you think? Let us know in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time, guys.